Welcome to the Business Owner Clarity Series webinar. If you're just seeing this notification in Facebook or you're joining us live, we're going to give a couple minutes to get started. But we're talking about overwhelm. So that's a common thing with business owners. And so we're going to talk about how to get 10 more hours back every week without working harder or longer. So that's what we're going to cover. We're going to start here in a couple minutes. And if you're getting notified, drop your name down in the chat. We would love to be able to see who is joining us. You can mention what your business is as well. And welcome. And if you've seen some of our webinars before, would love to hear about that as well. And you might also be seeing the replay on our YouTube channel too. So if you're joining us live on Zoom, welcome, or the Facebook group. We're so happy that you're joining us. And we do these Business Owner Clarity Master Classes every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. And we do have it posted on our YouTube channel, so you can follow us along there. And our goal is to really help support you as the business owner, helping to support you with your time, which is the most precious asset that you have, as well as with your team, helping you with recruiting, helping you to recruit those A team members, and then also helping you with money. So all of the things that you're going into business for to get that freedom, whether it's with more time freedom, more financial freedom, or you want to be having other people to do some of the work for you so that you are not doing everything yourself. So we're happy that you're here. And today we're talking about the overwhelm reset. So we want to take a moment here in this time for the webinar to reset that and help you with some strategies to overcome that. Who would want to get more hours through your week? Of course, we can't do that with actual time, but we can with creating strategies to help you to be more efficient, to help you to have more focus, and ultimately so that you could be spending more time doing the things that you want to be doing. So if you have found yourself busy all day, you're not alone. A lot of business owners have as well. You know, you're moving constantly, you're putting out fires, you're solving problems, you're operating the business, but somehow the most important things, they don't always get accomplished, right? Sometimes you've got that never-ending list and you're doing some of the things that feel important, but they don't make the progress and the movement in your business to help you to be able to get out of the business. So, you know, when we look at this, a lot of times what can happen, I just want to address this first, is, you know, most owners feel they're overwhelmed, but it's not because they're lazy. It's because, you know, we have so many different things that are pulling our focus, and working harder is not the problem. So I want to just go through the agenda of what we're going to be covering today. We'll do a little bit of some housekeeping. We're going to tell you who we are at Action Coach. And then I want to hear from you. If you are listening to us live, then go ahead and tell us who you are and what your business is. And then we're going to dive into the content, into the strategies to help you to have more time, more productivity, less overwhelm. Agreed? And then also we're going to talk to you about how to stay in action. What would be that next step for you? How to be able to accomplish those goals. And then I want to get your feedback. So we always ask for feedback from our participants. We'd love to hear from you, what you found most valuable, and then what stood out to you. So you can see BFOs here. That stands for blinding flash of the obvious. So it's like those ahas that come to you. I want to hear from you what those are as well. So in order to get the most BFOs, blinding flash of the obvious, we want to turn down those distractions. So if you've got notifications on, you can silence those, you know, looking at your phone, all the different things that will pull your distraction away. Because I know that if you're joining us here, you're really focused on how can you get out of that overwhelm and how can you get more time and more hours in your day, in your week. So I want you to, you know, if you can, turn off the notifications. You know, if you're live with us, you can call out the answers, raise your hand. We want to hear from you. And a little bit about us. So we are the world's #1 business coaching firm. We have more than 1,000 coaching offices in 70 countries worldwide. And we're privately owned and founded by Brad Sugars, who is an entrepreneur and a best-selling author. And our vision is to create world abundance through business re-education. And what that means for you is helping you to be able to have the knowledge and have the skills needed so that you are not, the business is not owner dependent. You didn't go into business just to build yourself a job. You built this to have an asset, to have the time freedom and financial freedom. And we coach over 15,000 businesses each week across the world. And the important thing to think about this is I hear often, well, Stacy, you don't know my business. I own a XYZ company, and that's specific. So it doesn't matter what your niche is. The business foundations to build a business that ultimately works without you, that strategy is the same. We've helped so many different types of businesses, and I know that we can help support you as well. So now I want to hear from you. So type in the chat. If you're listening in the Facebook group, tell us who you are, what type of business you do, maybe even how many years in business that you've been in business. If you've got some employees, that's fantastic. Would love to know about that as well. So comment in the chat there, and I'll take a look later on when I go back into the Facebook group if I can't see you live here. So the thing that I want you to think about is whenever we sign up for a webinar or an event, there's usually a specific reason that we sign up for that, right? So what I want you to think about is today is what are you choosing to get out of today? So you can either write that down if you want. Love to hear from you. You can put it in the chat as well. But be specific as you can. Like if you were to have one thing solved in your business today, that maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe you feel like you're pulled in a lot of different directions. If you could get one thing solved today, what would that do for you? What would that change in your business today? So be as specific as you can. And so let's take a look at, I think one of the things that can happen is we think that when we go to webinars or we go to seminars and retreats, it's like motivation. We feel really excited. And then what happens when we come back? A lot of times, all those pictures that are on our phone of the slides and all the different handouts, they kind of just get pushed aside and we get back into our normal routine. And that's not what today is about. This is really about understanding why this is a problem for you, why you are feeling overwhelmed, why you're feeling pulled in all the different directions, and how to fix that with a proven structure. And I wanted to share one of our client success stories. He's with us still today, so this is current. And he started talking about his results with Action Coach. And one of the things that really stands out to me here with this is that he said he's been a huge help focusing him on the most important parts of the company. So I don't know if you can relate to that, having difficulty with focus, but I have found a lot of business owners have a hard time with what's the main thing in my business that's going to help me to achieve the goals that I want. What do I need to focus on? Or have someone look at the business to see what exactly is working and what's not working and what can be tweaked to be able to change that. And he was able to get that solved with working with us here at Action Coach. Now let's take a look at a little bit of the outside perspective. So you can see this gentleman, he's inside this jar, and it says you can't read the label from inside the jar. And so when you're looking at this, what really stands out to me is that, when you're looking at your business, you're so immersed in the operations of the business, but you don't have the ability to see the outside perspective, especially if you're spending, 60 plus hours a week in your business. You've got all the different things that you have to do, all the different hats that you're wearing already. And so you don't have the ability to see like what's working in your business and what's not. You can see when you're putting out all the fires, you're handling all the day-to-day problems, but that's because you're working inside of it. So it's like being inside this jar as well. You're just a little too close to the glass. And the important part of this is there is a human cost to this. So when we are working so many hours a week, when we have all of the interruptions, we have all of the emails, if you've got employees, you're working with them as well, operating the business, and you often at times are taken away from the things that are most important to you, like family. If you find yourself on your phone all the time, not able to have time with dinner with family, or maybe your laptop goes with you on vacation, that's the human cost of it. And that's an important factor, because we didn't start our business to go into business so that we could be spending more hours working. We actually went into it to be spending less hours. And so it's important to look at that human cost, because it's not just about making more money. It's when the business is consuming you, everyone else around it feels it, and everyone else's lives are impacted. So we like working with business owners who are tired of doing all of that, and they want to be able to spend more time with their family and really have the business support the family versus being consuming of it. So let's look at the core narrative of the business owner. So we know you're busy. The business is technically growing. The revenue is growing, but the time part of it feels very scarce. Money may even feel tight or unpredictable. I just got off the phone with a business owner, and he said he's been in business, I think, for 35 years, and he's still paying his employees more than he's paying himself. That's a problem. That's not something that we want to be thinking is normal. We want to make sure that you as the business owner are making a profit that is worth what your value is, and that you're not paying your employees more. And then a lot of times business owners feel like their effort doesn't equal their reward. And so, when the business is working, but your life doesn't, and it's costing you that family part of it as well, and maybe you're not paying yourself what you want, that can really start to put you in that place of feeling like overwhelmed. And like the business owner I was just talking about, he's like, I'm feeling at that place where I'm feeling burnt out. And that's not a good place. Nobody wants to be at that burnout place, because then it affects the way the quality of your motivation in your business, and you start to put that self-imposed pressure. So this is what we want to work on and help you with today. And so let's dive into helping you not only like we're not going to be working more. We want to really turn that chaos into more control, into having a place where you have more control over your time, over your focus, and how you're being able to spend that time. So we're going to dive into time mastery. Now, your most valuable asset, like we talked about, is time. It's something that we all have the same amount of time during the day. We can't really have time management because it's more about self-management. And so how you invest your time, it's really one of the keys to business success. And it's something that when you're able to master that, you're going to have that self-mastery, right? So I just said there's no such thing as time management. You have to focus on self-management. And when I say that, I'm not just talking about discipline. I'm not talking about, getting up at 4 a.m. and working long hours. I'm really talking about how can you be more efficient with what to focus on and when to focus on. And we're going to look at a diagram here in a little bit. So looking at what is the big things that need to be done, and, not just reacting. So we don't want to look at just constantly reacting to employee issues or client issues or emails and putting out those fires, but really focusing on the things that are going to move your business forward into growth that is also giving you additional cash flow. And so the thing here is when you're looking at self-mastery, it really takes outside discipline first. It takes that knowledge of knowing what to focus on. And then eventually you're going to develop that internal discipline first. But if you don't have the knowledge of what to focus on, then you just start putting, that pressure on yourself of like, okay, I'm working harder, I'm working longer hours, but it's still not working for me. So if you've had that narrative, I'm going to help you to be able to shift that today. And self-discipline starts with knowing where your time is going. So I'd love to just ask a couple questions, and this can just be something that you can think about is, do you know where your time is going? Have you ever done a time management study, or just, looked at your time and say, okay, this is how much time I spend on emails or in team meetings, or how much time it takes me with a process or trying to remember what that process is. Or, a lot of times we get so overwhelmed that we find ourselves doom scrolling. Like, where is your time really going? So that you understand that. And once you do start to understand, like, okay, this is the amount of time I'm spending in each of these categories, it can help you to have that clarity of knowing what to focus on. So think about how many hours per day and per week are you currently working? And looking at that, like what's that biggest chunks of activity that you're doing on most of the days? Do you have some time that you're spending on marketing? Do you have some time that you're spending on advertising? Do you have some time that you're spending working on the business, such as putting systems in place so that you don't have to remember like checklists and standard operating procedures? Do you have a time that you have in your calendar that you're looking at your financials regularly so you know where your money is going? You know what your conversion rate is, what is your gross margin. A lot of times business owners don't have the capacity in the business, like this is the outside perspective, to look at some of those things because they're just doing the day-to-day things that feel necessary in the business. So, when I say some of these things, just understand it is normal that you may not have that in your calendar. But you want to be able to work to a place that you do spend time working on your business, about 5 hours a week to start so that you can really start growing that. And so think about like how much time do you spend on each of those chunks? Do you have some dedicated time in your calendar that you're working on your business? And is it a time that it's being, you're feeling productive? If you put, working on advertising at 4:00 in the afternoon, are you feeling energized enough, or does that kind of get pushed off the calendar? So think about that when you're scheduling out your time. Another aspect of self-mastery is looking at urgency versus importance. And I'm going to show you a diagram in a little bit to show you kind of the difference between the two of them. Because you want to look at like, if something is urgent, what is that? We want to rate that importance of factor of it and make a list, of the next day's tasks at the end of each and every day. So one of the best practices I do is I plan out the week, and then at the end of the day, of each day, I look at my week calendar and I say, okay, these are the things that I can do for the next day. So when I start my day, I'm not thinking, okay, what is it that I need to do? What are the things that are focused? Because otherwise the day will consume you and you'll get sucked into all the different things that demand your attention, and then you never even get to the most important things that you want to focus on. So making that list at the end of the day for the next day is really important. And then you want to take that list and you want to break it into A, B, and C priorities. What are those top priorities? What are the things that are going to move your business forward? Using your goals. So at Action Coach, not only do we do like a 1, 5, 10-year plan, but then we break it down into 90-day goals, because that way it is more achievable. You can look at your 90-day and say, okay, in the next 90 days, this is what I want to accomplish. This is my focus. And then you can take your tasks and you can break those down into different categories, and you start moving forward with that, and you start to feel more productive because you're gaining access. So those are some elements of self-mastery. And looking at, once you've done your A, B, and C priorities, you want to look at the A's you want to do first, the B's if you get time, and then the C's you want to be able to delegate that. So here is Hubby's time management matrix. And so if you haven't seen this before, I think this is a really great way to be able to look at your time and find out where you're spending your time. And if you've seen this, then it's a great refresher, because I definitely recommend looking at this for a year and every year to go, okay, where am I spending my time? Now it's divided. On the left, we've got not important and important, and then across the top we have urgent and non-urgent. And so this is referred to as a matrix or quadrant. So we've got 4 quadrants here. So the first one is important, urgent. And so that is the firefighting. So that's when you are looking at, all of the pressing problems that are in your business, all the crisis, all the deadline driven projects. And this is where most business owners live. So if you think about that, when you get up and you start your day and you immediately go into your day, you don't have your list of what A, B, and C things are important to you for the day. So you just immediately start. Maybe you're not even prepped for the meeting. You're like, okay, you just go right into it. The rest of your day is going to be set up that way because that's how you started it. And you're just going to be in that day running your stress response, constantly feeling in that urgent firefighting zone. And this is, the problem with that, if you're in quadrant 1 all the time, is there's not any growth. So the growth actually happens in quadrant 2. So if you look at that, that's where it's important, but it's not urgent. And that's where you're spending your time looking at how can we prevent some of those fires? How can we make some improvements, maybe the improvements of your delivery of your service or your product? Maybe doing some relationship building, some marketing, some sales like we talked about. Recognizing new opportunities, maybe an up-level or an add-on product that you can offer. Things that are going to be supporting you with the growth, with the delivery of your product, with your sales, your marketing, your finances. So this is where you're putting your time in planning. And this is where you can be strategic. Maybe it's even team development or marketing. And so this is the area that usually most business owners know that they need to do it, but they're not creating the time to do it. So if this is you, just know it's normal. I would recommend putting some time in your calendar weekly, whether it's an hour a day that you're working on it, or maybe you've got 2 days of the week that you can do that. You're spending a couple hours focused on in the important but not urgent quadrant 2, where you're doing the planning and you're doing the strategy when you're looking at your business so that you can grow the business. Now quadrant 3 is, the bottom 2 are not important, but they feel urgent. So quadrant 3 is, maybe all the meetings that you have. Maybe you've got, interruptions, phone calls, things that can distract you away from being able to be more in quadrant 2. And then, of course, we have quadrant 4, which is the time wasting. That's the busy work, where you've got, emails, maybe even some doom scrolling, just things that are causing you to focus away. So if you're feeling in that space of overwhelm, what's going to happen is you're going to deal with the things that are in quadrant 1, all the firefightings, the things that seem really urgent. You're going to feel really tired to not want to do the things in quadrant 2. And a lot of times you'll do a lot of the things in the 3 and 4 because those are the easier tasks. And so these are the tasks that you want to delegate, whether it's, to an employee, maybe you're doing some AI automation, a virtual assistant, having someone else help you with those so that you can spend more of your quality time in quadrant 2. So if you're looking at this, what I would say is write down some of the things that you notice. Maybe you do a time study just for a day or a week and look at where are you spending your time. Is it in quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4? And how can you shift some of that time? Not so that you don't have, we don't want to have it so there's no fun whatsoever. We want to make sure we have some fun time. We want to make sure that we have some buffer time in our calendar. but also some quality time that you're putting in your calendar to focus on your business is going to be a strategic way for you to be able to save time and to be able to grow your business. So think about it. What are your big, what are your big time wasters? Looking at that is really going to help you. And thinking about, like, are you in the zone of being in quadrant 2, and what activities could you outsource? This is where the capacity really starts to get created and helping you to have more time. So thinking about this is, like we just talked about, thinking about what are those time wasters and what activities could you delegate or possibly outsource. That's going to be your low interest, your low skill, things that you're perfectly capable of doing, but you're the business owner, and so you want to be spending your time doing the things that are going to be bringing in more profit for your business, so the higher wage tasks, and delegate some of those lower wage ones as well. That's going to give you more time back into your day and into your week as well. So this is the target. I really like this as well, because we can kind of look at, we want to be in that zone. We want to be in where you're working on your business. That's that focus. And it's not to say that you're not going to be, we're always going to have some types of things that come up in our business that are the fires, understandable. But if you're working and you're spending dedicated time working on your business, then you're going to be able to put the systems in place to minimize that, so that you're not constantly in that reactive place. So this is the target. This is where you're working on your business and not just in your business. So that's that important zone, spending the time that you have there. And then most owners don't fail because they fall off track. Most owners fail because they stay off track. So everybody has, a bad day. Everybody has numbers that they didn't hit, or they have distractions. But the difference is, successful owners get back on track faster, and they're not relying solely on motivation. They're relying on their consistency. And so being consistent to be able to work on your business and do the strategies, that can be a difficult thing, especially when you're a business owner. I find a lot of business owners feel very lonely in their business, because they have to make so many decisions, and they have to run the company, and they have to wear all of the hats. So, if you are one of those business owners, just understand that's also very normal. And having someone with an outside perspective can help you to be able to know, what are the areas that I need to focus on, so I can have ultimately more time to spend with my family, even have some rest and sleep better at night. And those are the business owners that we're looking to have that type of breakthrough and looking to focus on as well. So blinding flashes of the obvious. So I would love to hear in the chat, what are some things that stood out to you? Maybe you don't have time that you have scheduled in your calendar to focus on your business, and now you're going to be putting some focus time in your business. Like, even just utilizing that in and of itself is going to be able to help you to be able to move and grow strategically in your business. Or maybe you have never done a time study, and you're thinking, okay, I don't really want to do the time study because that feels like that might be a lot of work. Maybe I don't want to know what I'm focusing on, but I'm willing to give it a shot. That would be something that would be a great action to take too. That'll give you the clarity. And when you have the clarity, then you know what the areas are that's not working, and you know what you can do to fix it. Because if we're relying constantly on emotional feelings of overwhelm and exhaustion, we're not looking at the data. And so this is a great way to test and measure your time so that you can be more strategic with that. And I promise you, taking the time, which is kind of ironic, taking the time to do a time study is huge. I know when I first did it, I was looking at thinking, okay, there's a lot of things here that I can eliminate and I can get more efficient with, and actually work less in my day and still be more productive. And that's what I want for you as well. So take a moment, tell me what your blinding flash of the obvious is. Would love to hear that as well. And I love this quote by Les Brown. It's, "You can't see the picture when you're in the frame." And that is so true for almost every business owner. So when you're inside the business, you can't always see the patterns. You can't see the cracks. You can't see the bottlenecks or even the opportunities. And that's why having an outside perspective matters, to be able to do that. Because, when you're looking at, I think another great example that Teresa uses oftentimes is when you're taking a picture of someone, right? Someone asks you to take a picture of you. They might tell you to move a little bit to the left or wait a minute because there's someone behind you. You can't see what's behind you. So being able to have that outside perspective is huge and so beneficial to your business. And that's why we offer a 12-week business owner masterclass. So this is an opportunity for you to grow your business, to be able to get the business foundation, all of the elements in 12 weeks for only $1,200. And it's an amazing class. I'm teaching it right now, and we'll be opening it back up again as well. And you can also pay $100 a month or $100 a week. So it's a very affordable class. I have people that have taken it that have masters in business, and they said they wish they would have learned this in their master's program and wished that it was a lot less expensive like this is. So it's a great way to come together virtually with other business owners. You'll notice that they're sharing some of the same struggles and challenges that you are. You'll get the business basic foundation to be able to grow your business, to know how to do it strategically so that you can have more time, you can make more money, ultimately growing that business to be able to be a business that works without you, because that's the goal, having that freedom. And it really about supporting the life that you want instead of consuming it. And so that's why we created this 12-week business owner masterclass. And what we're offering during this business clarity series is when you sign up for this, you are also going to be receiving our Entrepreneur Day, which I'll show in a minute. So this is an in-person event, and you're able to network, you're able to be around other business owners and do in like workshop and mastermind. It's really incredible when you come together with community. It's like medicine, because you're in a room full of high achievers that are working on their business, and you're able to get amazing ideas and support from them, as well as the coaches that will be there too. And so it's really designed to help you build better habits and systems. And then you also can have a DISC. If you're not familiar with DISC, it's a communication tool. It's absolutely amazing, helping you to be able to increase your sales, communicate better to other people and your team members and understand them, know what motivates them. Plus you get a strategy session, and then you get access to our 30X portal, which is 30X Business, Life, and Wealth. Brad Sugars created this, and it is an absolutely amazing program. So there's and there's a lot more that goes along with this as far as bonuses, but I just wanted to let you know, for those that are interested in sign up today, not only do you get the business owner masterclass for $1,200, you also get those additional bonuses. And the next seminar that we have, our Entrepreneur Day, is on Friday, June 19th. And the topic is marketing systems that scale to help you to simplify, automate, and grow. So if you're in a place where you're wanting to have more leads, you want to have a better marketing system, this is the room to be in. It's only $47. So if you'd like to be able to learn more about Action Coach, this is a great way to be able to do that. Plus you get to network. Like I mentioned, if you sign up for the Business Owner Masterclass today, you get this included, plus you get it for the whole day, so you get the mastermind. But this one, you can just try it on and come in person and be able to have that. And then if you have additional questions, we also are offering a strategy session for those of you that decide, you're not sure what type of coaching or training is best. Happy to meet with you. You'll get that in our feedback form. So We'll give you the link for that feedback form. Would love to get your feedback as well. What did you love best about this webinar? What would you like to learn more of? If you're watching this even on YouTube later, comment and let us know. I want to, how do I do this? Give us a suggestions. We would love to hear about that. And then we have our next webinar, which is going to be in 2 weeks as well. So we'll post that as well, but we'd love to get your feedback. Here is the availability. You'll see that on the feedback form, so you can book a session with me, a strategy session. And this is complimentary just for those that are listening to the webinar. It's usually valued at $4.95. And this is designed to help you to be able to look. I can help, look at your business, whatever it is that you're struggling with, whether it's time or money, your, financial areas, or maybe team. Happy to support you with that as well. And then this is our next webinar, which is coming up. Actually, this looks like this one's in the past, but we do have another one coming up in a couple weeks to be able to help support you, and we'll post that as well. And then lastly, these are the areas that you can follow us on. So we have our Facebook group, Action Coach Tampa Bay, as well as Instagram. And you can follow us on YouTube for more of the Business Clarity Masterclasses. So thank you so much for joining us. And I would love to hear how this goes for you, what you're committing to help you to have more time and less overwhelm. And hope to see you on the next Clarity webinar.